Okay, we've got sound. All right. Some people some time to get in here. Wait a minute for people to come in. Okay. Okay. So today I am going to be taking off all of this old polish. This is my New Year's polish, and I am going to be replacing it with one of my favorite colors. This is OPI Gelimint. It is called Let Me Lavender, and I'll show you. It's just a nice, just pretty kind of pinky purple. I look at it, to me, it's more of a pink than it is a purple, but I really like that color. So I'm going to start on doing that. Grab my drink because I'm going to be thirsty. Okay. And I'm soaking my brush because last time I decided to do this, I must have left a little chunk of acrylic on it. So that's soaking for a minute. So while that's soaking, before I get the drill going, anyone that has followed the Rebecca Park story out of Wexham County up near Traverse City in Michigan, there were some updates last night I saw this morning when I got on, checked my news articles. Apparently, the mother and stepfather are asking for the charges to be dismissed against them because they said that the prosecution has not given them anything. They haven't provided discovery, nothing yet. So, which just disgusts me that they would even do that because they've literally, in the probable cause affidavits, which are on my community page, if you want to read through them, if you're not familiar with the case, it's all there. They basically blame each other, but they took Courtney's daughter, Rebecca, out into the woods. They stabbed her. They removed the baby from her. And according to them, both Rebecca and the baby lost their lives. And so they put the baby in a cooler and threw him somewhere. They haven't said where. They haven't told anybody where this baby is. They don't know. They don't remember. But they want charges dropped. Um, the prosecution says, as we anyone that follows true crime stories knows, that um, these cases take time, and they want to make sure that that all their T's are crossed and all their I's are dotted, because they have one shot at this, and these people murdered this young woman and her unborn baby. There's a couple different reasons out there, whether or not it was because the mother wanted the baby of her own. Good morning, Miss Nina. Um, or whether it's just she was sick. There's drugs involved, everything like that. The sister is involved. The mother and the sister both had affairs with Rebecca's fiance. I mean, this whole family is just an absolute mess, but literally, that they would dare ask for a dismissal of the charges is just beyond me. So they are back in court on January 30th. And that is when anything the judge has said as of now, he's not dropping the charges, and they are still being held over without bond, exactly where they belong, in my opinion. And January 30th, the judge is going to decide, based on what the prosecution can bring, if they will be dismissing the charges or not. And I know that's a stunner to even think about something like that in a case like that, where they've literally confessed to what they did. So I highly doubt, unless the prosecution has just really dropped the ball, I highly, highly doubt that any charges will be dropped. But yeah, I saw that this morning and I about spit out my coffee. But well, I almost spit out my coffee for two reasons. Okay. So Reagan, I don't know if you're watching. This one goes out to you today. I had a good friend stop by yesterday and we went and got coffee, and we were laughing because she said she had gone somewhere, and I can't remember where, but to get a coffee, and she'd gotten one called Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and I thought it sounded really good. And so she got it, had the lid on it and everything, and she went to take a big swig out of it. And she all of a sudden there were all these chunks in her mouth. And she's like, oh, bleh, bleh, like hard swallowed, tried not to spit it out, and asked the girl at the counter, she said, what is in this coffee? And I'm like, oh, it's Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Wherever this was, they literally had taken Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal and sprinkled it on top. Well, she didn't know it and she wasn't ready for it. So here came these chunks. She's like, there's food in my coffee, just totally grossed out. Well, anyway, so this morning I thought, well, it's absolutely freezing out. It was 14 degrees in the mitten today. And she was so grossed out. Well, so I thought, I'm going to go and I'm going to get myself a good coffee this morning instead of just a regular one, my home coffee. And so I pull into Tim Hortons and it's a pistachio mocha latte. And I thought, oh, that just sounded really good this morning. I like pistachio ice cream, so I got it. And I get about halfway home and I let it open because it's always way too hot. So I opened it up, let it cool for a second, went to go take a swig out of it. And in my mouth, I get chunks of pistachios. And and I just thought, she jinxed me. So yeah, I am not a fan of chunks in my coffee. I like flavoring once in a while, but I think I'm probably better off just sticking with the regular old coffee. So, so what I am doing today, though, is I'm going to take this off, and I am going to put on my old trusty color, because I get to go on Sunday and I get to finally meet someone who has become a really good friend in the past 2 years, Molly Golightly. So I'm really excited. She's going to be, oh yeah, it was so gross. And like, I'm thinking, I can handle marshmallows and like my cocoa and stuff like that. But for whatever reason, like something crunchy was just, Oh yeah, I am excited. So, um, I'm gonna drive down. It's gonna be freezing that day. So, I hope she's ready. I don't know if Pennsylvania gets as quite as cold as we do, but um, so I'm gonna drive down on Sunday and go see her for a couple hours before she's got to get on the plane and go home. And so, and then her flight leaves at 9 o'clock on Sunday night. Um, so she'll either go home and crash because she's still worn out, or and you'll have to wait till Monday to hear how crazy I am, or she'll go live when she gets home and tell everybody how crazy I am right away. So so yeah. So all right. So first things first. Actually, I shouldn't have poured this yet because I don't want to get a bunch of dust in it. But oh man, yeah, and she's got her son's award ceremony, so they'll be doing that Saturday. And then I think they're going away on vacation right after that too. So she's definitely going to be busy. But it'll be worth it because she'll be able to, wherever they're going. They're going. It started with a B, and I can't remember where it was, but it'll be warm. So right now, that's all that really matters. I'm so over winter. So all right, brace yourselves because here comes the drill. I'll kind of pull away from the camera so I'm not deafening anyone. But this really, I tried that soak off stuff and it's okay. I really don't want to use that on my press-ons or on my acrylics, just simply because it will weaken that. Because it doesn't say, it is got to be some kind of like gel acetone. So yeah, and this is just, for me, it's way easier. And I enjoyed these nails and I got lots of compliments on them. But this is one of the reasons why I am not a huge fan of black polish. Is because it sticks in every crevice, every little crack on your nail. Now these are going to be the ones, the decorated ones that are going to be lots of dust, all that glitter and coat the top coat, but again, I did these, New Year's Day, and they've lasted except for my thumb, and I mean, I say it all the time, I am super rough on my nails, so I'm a boy mom, so honestly, anymore, I don't even think being a boy mom matters. Those girls are just as tough as those boys out there now, so. If not tougher, actually, in some circumstances. But. My friend that stopped over yesterday, she had 3 girls, and we were just laughing about, they're all grown now, but just laughing about some of the stories and some of the stuff that she had to deal with that you'd never think of, being girls, but they got in some fights like they were WWE wrestlers on occasion, so. I got this boosted up to like 2.5, 2.75. When you're just starting getting used to this, just keep it on a lower speed. You don't want to hurt yourself. Because you can really burn yourself with these, or go too deep. So, but cost wise, I mean, you have to order your bits separately, but I got a really good deal on this Dremel tool, so, and I figure it might be a little bit heavier duty than some of the nail drills I was seeing, and it's lasted. This is like 5 years old, so. And you always want to try and keep this generally kind of flat, or maybe about no more than like a 45-degree angle when you're going, because you don't want to go down into your nail with that edge. The only time you want to do that is when you're doing like rebalancing for like pinks and whites, and you want to like take out that white so you can go down further and fill it back in. And what rebalancing is, for anyone that doesn't know, is it's when you, instead of doing a new set, and we talked about the apex of the nail, and that's right here, and you want to build that up with acrylic, and especially the longer the nail, acrylic or gel, whatever you're using, because that's what gives your nail strength and gives it, the longer they are, it gives it that strength, because that's where they snap. Whenever they snap, get it caught in something, etc. So rebalancing is going in, taking out that top layer, making your smile line again, building that up, and then building back up into here, because as it grows, you have thinner products. You're filling that in, thickening that up again, and basically, again, rebalancing it, making it the same structure as when you first put the set on. Now just be ready. There's going to probably be a bunch of booming above my head in a few minutes. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but it's end of semester exam day, so my oldest has 2 half days. And he'll be home in just a few, so. And I never realized how heavy-footed he was until I decided to put my office right below a room he frequents, which is the living room. And this is always the hard hand because it's my non-dominant hand, so I'm not as able to put the same amount of pressure on it when I'm removing stuff or using the drill in any capacity, but and sometimes it's just easier to move your finger instead of the drill, so Megan. Just be careful. Go slow. After this, after I get off the live today, I'm going to color my hair. I gotta run to the grocery store first. But then I'm going to color my hair because I had said I was going to try and grow my hair out in the new year and just embrace the gray. But I'm about a month in and I can't handle it anymore. So, we're not going to do that anymore. So, I'm going to cover those roots. Get down in there with one of the smaller bits. Almost done with this part. I hate this part. This is the boring part for me. Yay, only one more left. Okay. Dust everywhere. Okay, there's that. Trusty dusty paper towel. Okay. And first thing I'm going to do is just kind of go over I don't usually shape them to the very end, but I do like just to go over and get any little spots that are cattywampus. Any spots that I noticed that were starting to get crooked or whatever from wear. But I really have to say this set has really lasted forever. I mean, like what started out as a set of press-ons, now I just keep filling in. And now my nails underneath are growing out, so I probably... Excuse me. This weather has my sinuses going nuts right now. But I probably will take these off. Maybe one more fill. I don't know yet. I always go back and forth between long nails and then my shorties. So yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was so cold this morning. It was like a skating rink out too. I was kind of hoping for a snow day because it was so cold and icy, but I doubted it anyway because with exams, they don't want them to miss those days or they don't have to, so. But, ugh. And I really was just thinking to myself because I didn't want to have to go get out in that car. It was so cold. So yeah, I'm just doing a rough shaping just to make sure they're... And see if there's any little loose edges of acrylic or anything like that. Okay. Now the next step is the primer. Wait 1 second. As I said that, so just a titch of black polish. So, okay. I'm just going to kind of dab it, and it will spread. I see some of the little, but anywhere where there's natural nail. That's going to help that acrylic bond to your nail. And I try to remember to do this. And after I do the first hand, I will primer again that second hand because I want it not wet, but just fresh. But I do that just in case I forget because I'm getting old and I'm a mom, so my brain doesn't always brain like it's supposed to. Okay, make sure that's all soaked in so you don't have any leftover powder. And I always, for fills, I just end up doing the one ball method. Now I'm doing this again on here just because I know there's some people that haven't seen, but I have a better camera setup now, so you can. I'm not like before when I tried to do it. It was almost like it was too close, and I felt like you couldn't really see what I was doing. So I'm just going in and I see a little area that needs to be filled in there. Now I'm using the Beauty Secrets nail liquid, and acrylic powder. And then ASP acidless primer. I'm just dipping in my liquid, dipping it off just one side, and I'm just kind of patting with the tip of my brush. Then I'm going to flip it over, make sure that all of that monomer is soaked into that powder. And I'm not up to my cuticle because it does kind of slide forward. And my easiest way that I have found is if I kind of use the gravity method and let it just, I'm just going to kind of lightly, I'm not using a bunch of pressure, I'm just kind of dragging that brush across. And it really, I wipe it off. Now this time I am going to wipe both because I don't want my brush super wet. I just want it wet enough that I can kind of smooth out something. If it's too wet, it's going to remove all that product before it has time to set. And see, it really just kind of made its own shape. I didn't have to do much to it. You can do an entire set in with the gravity method if it's easier for you when you're doing your own. You just have to use a much bigger brush. That's if you've ever been in any of the, call them the chop shops, but if you've ever been in any of the chop shops, a lot of times they'll use that and they have those big, huge, wide paddle brushes. But I mean, they might be using acrylic that's poisoning your liver, but they put some nice nails on, so. Trying to get at a good angle where I can do this, but you can still see what I'm doing. And if you're too far away from the cuticle, you can always go back in and add a little baby bead back there to fill it in. It's better to do that than, that's the biggest enemy of any of these products, whether it be acrylic or gel, is getting it on your skin. Because very first, the minute you get the stuff on your skin, you're going to get lifting. It's just, no matter what you do, it's going to happen. But that's when you start getting your allergies and stuff like that. And it's just not worth it. It's better just to go slow. And see, you can see what I'm doing right here. Is I'm just kind of pushing that up to that. And then I'm going to use the gravity method, kind of hold my hand down like this. Remember both sides because you don't want it. And the reason why I like this Beauty Secrets, it's not very expensive. it um and it seems to have a nice strength to it, but also it doesn't dry super, super fast. So you've got time, as long as you don't have your mix too wet, you've got time to kind of play with it and mess around with it. And see, it's a little, it could be a little closer to the cuticle right there. So I'm just going to add just a tiny little baby bead. And again, I have no idea what music we're listening to today. It's all that copyright-free stuff. So, yeah, there we go. Let's let that sit for a second before I start the next hand. And let's sit for a second. Okay, now as I said, I'm going to do one more. Just a dot, a dab. Oh, let's see, that's... I want to get rid of that black out of there. Because if I don't, that will be under that acrylic. There we go. See? I mean, I'm going to have polish on it, but still. Okay, now this is going to be the fun part. The entertaining part, because this is me doing this in my non-dominant hand. But this is where the gravity method helps you out. So, again, just going to lay that bead down. Kind of flat handing, flat brushing, pulling it down. Because I really want a majority of that product to stay down there by the nail bed where I left it, where I'm building that nail back up. See, really, it's about the perfect shape. So, and that's the thing, you really don't have to do any shaping afterwards if you do that. You're saving yourself so much work. The drier it gets, the more you play with it, the more lines you're going to have in it that are going to be a total pain to take out and buff out. And it's just that much more filing and that much more stress on your nail and your hands cramping trying to file all this acrylic off that's extra. And back in the day when I had young hands, I didn't mind. I thought, I'll just file it off. No big deal. But now I gotta save my hands every chance I get. So just dab, dab, dab. Flip it over, make sure that you're... And some of these songs are pretty cool. Some of them I've actually heard on the YouTube playlist. When you go into studio to edit your video, anyone that doesn't know, they have a bunch of like copyright-free music that you can use on your videos. So, that's why sometimes everything sounds like certain channels sound like they have elevator music playing. It's because there's not a big choice, but And you don't want to get it too thick at the cuticle either, because, or up at this, up near your cuticle, even if you're not touching, because if it's too thick, you're going to get lifting too. I know it doesn't make sense. If it's too thin, you'll get lifting. If it's too thick, you'll get lifting. If it's touching the skin, you'll get lifting. Okay. I'm just going to sit there and soak that for a second, because I'm not going to leave it with a chunk this time, because that was a pain in the butt. And if anybody new is coming in, or I can't really see how many people have got my lights in the way, but if you're new, I would greatly appreciate it if you like what you're seeing today. Um, Even if you're on the replay, if you would please hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up for me. It helps get me out in that algorithm. It's completely free, and I'm trying to build my channel. So every little bit of help I can get, I will take. So, and as usual, if there's anything that you would like to see me do, I like to do kind of challenges to see if I can do certain nail arts, things like that I haven't done before. Um, and if I think I've got a chance, we'll do it. So if you're watching now and you have an idea, or if you're watching the replay, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Let me know. Okay. Now I'm just going to go through now. One of the best ways to be able to tell if your acrylic's completely dry, because you don't want to start to file it until it's completely dry, is like, you hear this one's a little bit duller sounding. These are a little bit dull. Then that's the best way to tell. When you get that ping, that means that they are dry all the way through and you're safe to go ahead and file. So again, I'm just going to go along the edges. Not too much, because I don't want to take off the product that I built back up on there. But I do want to go in and shape them. And then just give them a rough up. Oh, I can hear the big teenager feet above me. So again, forgive me if there's a bunch of banging. Our house is small, so he will come in, take his shoes off, either get a snack or go straight to his room and go take a nap. Yeah, just going through, making sure we're completely smooth. But like I said, between going over the sides before I filled them and just really using that gravity method and kind of letting them self-level and do their own thing, I really do have a smooth end product with this acrylic. So, but like I said, this has got a nice dry time on it, work time, so you've got time to kind of mess with it, etc. There's other brands that if you're faster at it, I don't know about the ones. I know I've got a license, so the ones that I have used that I have liked before were like CND, um, and I liked this. It was called what was it? No lift CND, like no lifts. Well, there was also one called Moxie that I used to really like, and it had primer in it. I still used primer with it. I figured you just kind of had a double whammy against lifting, and but I loved that one. Just so expensive. And I might have to paint these rough because I cannot find my buffer anywhere. I don't know where in the world it went. If it fell on the floor, chances are my dog grabbed it and took off with it, so. She's a hound dog and she is a chewer, and anything squishy left on the floor, anything like that, gone. In fact, my littlest one, for about his first 6 months, he loved his pacifier. And, but to get him off of it, we got him these, because he started teething and stuff. We got him, oh, they were these chewy animals that there was like a ring, and like part of it was the handle part was bamboo, so if they chewed on it, it was safe. And then the other part was like silicone. And oh my gosh, my dog, I think it was the bamboo, loved those, and we'd have to watch her because she would literally steal them right out of the baby's hand, just take off with it and go chew it up. So right along the edge of the cuticle too, just to my rough file, just not on my cuticle, because you don't want to hurt yourself or cut yourself. Let me see, let's put right there. And this is where I say, and a lot of you have probably done this, where you move your hand instead of the file, just because non-dominant hand. It's not always easy to steer the file the way you want. I know what I can do, since I can't find my buffer, because you do want to buff them afterwards. Just real quick, because it just helps. It's like with wood. You're taking it down, you're closing up that pore, you're making it not quite as rough, giving it a smoother finish. And I don't know, there's a bunch of things are changing with nails and with the belief system in nails, and as far as finishing work and things like that. I was watching someone the other day that was talking about, now I was always taught to take, after you're done, you get them shaped and you put oil on them, and you buff them, put oil on them. I've had people buff my nails and put the oil on afterwards. I've had them put it on and then buff them. But the reason I was told we did that was because it goes into those pores and helps drive out any like chemical residue, liquid chemical residue that was left in there. And helps kind of seal it and make it not quite so porous. Um, Therefore making it stronger. That's what I was taught back in like 150 years ago. But this one was talking about doing that with gel polish, and I don't really know how that would work because it would never. I would think that it would ruin the shine on the nails. So I don't know. I might have to do some experimenting with that and see what. Why does my computer do this? It stops playing. And I need it to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay. I wonder if I can do that. This file, this 100 side, is about the same. Grit as my buffer. So I'm just going to go over it with this fine file. Okay. We're almost there to the painting part, to the fun part. Oh, I do have to do under my nails with my drill. But other than that, then we're on to the painting part, I promise. There, okay. Bring that all the way down. And just go in and go under that. You really just need it because no matter how clean you are, you're gonna get makeup and hairspray and stuff. You're gonna use that and it's gonna stain your nails underneath. Like this one's dry, so I'm almost completely taking that natural nail out from underneath there. Just because it's dry and it's just gonna cause an issue, and who needs it? This thumbnail is always the thickest. They probably should have waited to do this till after I color my hair, because no fail, every time there's a hole in one of my gloves. So I'm saying just kind of keep it nice and flat under your nails so you're not, because you don't want to take out too much acrylic from underneath. Okay. Now, I'm going to try this because I read something the other day about not needing to use base coat with acrylics as long as it's roughed up. Mine is roughed up, so we're going to see, because I've got a good polish, like OPI. Again, let me close this up so I don't spill it, but it is Let Me Lavender. You can see it close up. It's a nice color. In fact, I'm bringing Marissa a bottle of this, of a pink that she was, I think it's similar to one that she was looking for that she had put up on Patreon. So I'm going to bring that to her tomorrow. Let's get this going. Okay. So I don't want to get any of that stuck in my polish. Got one of my little sticks. I love these things, and I'm going to have these up on the website too. They're just little tiny orange wood sticks with cotton on the edge of them. They're so great for getting right along those little edges. So let's see. We'll see how long this lasts without any base coat or structure gel. Again, you can do pretty much the same with the polish as you do with the acrylic. I'm going up to the cuticle, but if you'll notice what I'm doing, I'm going up to it about right here, but then I'm pushing that polish close to it, and I'm leaving that edge. And I know that edge drives people nuts, but you have to do it with gel polish because the gel polish is very similar to the acrylic, to anything. It gets on your skin, it's going to peel, it's going to lift, and it's going to create irritation. And see, and I don't know, this, like I said, this to me looks kind of like a pinky lavender, so. But I like this color. It's one that goes with everything. Whether it's summer, whether it's winter. It just always looks good no matter what I'm wearing, what color I'm wearing. I mean, look, it even looks good with the camo. And this is, again, one of those kind of chalky, matte, opaque colors. So we really want to make sure we're just doing nice thin coats. Coffee's kicking in and starting to shake. My my crunchy coffee. Ugh. That really was a total bummer. Because I really needed that. That's what I'm going to have to do after I get done here, too, is make myself a real cup of coffee. Because I tried to get as much off of it as I could off the top, but... I always do my thumb last. See, like right there, I don't want that on my skin at all. Through that thumb. This brand cures for 30 seconds also, so it's easy peasy. This is the longest 30 seconds ever when I'm in a hurry. Okay. We do coat number 2. And another thing to be careful with the gel polish, because it does have some structure to itself. When you are painting and curing, especially the edges, just make sure you don't have any lumps in that polish, because it will cure like that. And if you have a ridge or a line, and you stick it under that lamp, it's going to cure just like that. It's going to be sticking up. And you are not going to be happy. And if you haven't seen in one of my previous lives, you do get done and you've got, say, a big gap between your cuticle and your nail, or it's could be a little bit rounder, you can take one of your art brushes and go around that edge with the paint and clear it up. And I know there's a bunch of people out there that say, that's cheating, that's cheating. That's stupid, okay? It's not cheating. You're doing your nails and you're finding ways to do your nails to make them look as nice as possible. So, I don't know. I think people are weird when they say stuff like that. Yeah, that's cheating. And actually, I only heard one person say that, but it's this gal on Facebook, and she's really harsh on what other nail techs do. And I just think, my gosh, like, I didn't see anything that she was doing that was that phenomenal. So, except for telling us all that everything we've ever known, never done, never learned is all wrong. And I know, I guess everybody's got to have their thing, right? And that's her thing. So, my thing is I am the Timu version of Bailey Sarian. I like to talk true crime. I like to talk weird facts. And I like to do nails instead of makeup. So, now I'm not quite on her level with the true crime, but, hey. I try to do the best I can. I try to tell the truth. Facts only. Facts, not feelings, right? Okay. I'm just using my finger paints, gel polish, soak off, glossy top coat. Because it's my favorite right now. But this is one that, I said before, I usually try to cure per nail because it is pretty it self levels pretty quickly. So, and again, after I get my finger out of this lamp, I'll remind you the trick that you don't always have to even completely cure it. You can just kind of flash cure it to stop it from moving on you. But remember the trick. This works with press-ons, and this works with your natural nails too. I'm going to go around, and again, this one, if you get the top coat of the base coat on your skin and you cure it, this is what's burning. If you're feeling burning, it means you've got something on there. Just kind of flip over for like 10 seconds. Flip it back in cure. So I'm just going to flash cure that to get it to stop. And I'll give them all a full 30 seconds after I get my pointer finger done. And just, with any polish, just take your time. Do nice, slow brush strokes so that polish top coat is getting exactly where you want it and nowhere else. Flip over for 10. And I learned the hard way about the self-leveling with this on my toes because I was putting the top coat on and then I'd have my foot up. I was trying to get, the light turned on, and I ended up with all these ridges on one side of my toenail. I finally figured out it was the top coat leveling itself. And that wasn't it hurt too. It was uncomfortable. It would like catch on like my socks, things like that. You couldn't really see it, but you could feel it. I have a bunch of foot phobias, so that was not good for someone like me. So okay, now I'm going to do the full 30. Okay. Go through, make sure it's nice and smooth, no bubbles. It's another thing to watch out for bubbles because they will cure right in your clear coat. Okay, now that one I can just do for 30 seconds because I don't have to wait for any other nails. Oh, and just lint free swab. I'll go over that and wipe all that sticky layer off. That's something I was reading in one of the groups the other day too. There was someone that had gotten some top coat and it wasn't. She'd always used the no white before, but she decided to try and use the sticky like this. And she said she kept curing it and curing it no matter what she did. Her nails were still sticky. That's what sticky top coat is, or the kind that you have to wipe off. It's gonna feel sticky. It will be dry. You're gonna feel it. It's gonna feel sticky. It's gonna feel weird, but it is cured under there. And once you take and wipe it off with either alcohol or acetone, it's no longer going to be sticky. You're just going to have that nice, um, you're just going to have that nice, smooth, shiny look to it. So, okay, do this hand. You're getting a special treat today because normally I don't let anyone see me paint with my non-dominant hand. So, let's flash cure those. Now we will cure for 30. Whoop, did I? Nope, I didn't. Okay. Phew. What's going on? Everything keeps refreshing on my phone every few minutes. How weird. Hear that? Try not to bump everything. Gosh, it's almost 1 o'clock. I didn't realize that. Time is flying. Hey, Bubble. How are you today? I'm going to do just... Said keeping these coats nice and thin. That's still, those ring fingers are still kind of growing out from when I had them in the stiletto. And I know I probably should have just taken that one completely off and put a square nail in there, but I felt lazy, so I didn't. I don't want too much on that brush. Don't want those bubbles in there either. So like I said, they will transfer when it cures. You'll either have a big bubble that you can feel, or it'll make a big hole in your polish, and neither of which is very fun. So, not a fun look. Excuse me. Okay. Second coat on the thumb, and then we can do top coat. Not bad for doing it left-handed. Okay, now onto the top coat. And then I'm going to cure these babies and then clean them up, oil them. Then I'm going to get off on my errands because we're supposed to get some snow overnight. So try and get that all done. And get back at home, get in my comfy clothes. And try to pretend like it's not winter outside. I'm trying to decide what to make for dinner tonight. I'm kind of craving white beans and ham, but like the soup or stew or I don't know what you call it. We always used to put ours either over cornbread or over biscuits. And with it being so cold out, I am craving like warm like soup and stuff like that. Usually I make that New Year's Day. But I didn't this year. Everybody wanted what did they want? I think they wanted like lasagna or something like that. But I gotta go get veggies because normally one of the reasons why it's easy to make New Year's Day is we always have like veggie tray left over. So I can use the carrots and celery from that to chop up and what they call it, the Trinity that starts all soup broths and all carrots, celery, and onions. And the recipe I use is now if you're not from the Midwest and probably particularly Michigan, Ohio, possibly Indiana, you won't know this restaurant that I'm talking about, but it was called Bill Knapp's, Knapps, and it was kind of similar to a Bob Evans, but it was a really famous restaurant in this area that had a lot of home cooked food, and they went out of business in the 90s, and they had tried to update their menu and turn it into they're trying to, they said, attract a younger crowd. Well, one of the things like I learned in hair is the younger crowd's great and all, but the younger crowd is not the one that has the money to be able to spend at your business. So you have to cater to all the crowds, and it probably did have a mostly older crowd because it had, kind of like Cracker Barrel. It had more of the, biscuits and gravy and burgers and salads, and they had stuff like quiche and these really good au gratin potatoes, which I have the recipe for. But there's somebody that a few years ago put they're like copycat recipes, and so I tried their famous bean soup and recipe, and oh, it was so good. And everyone that liked that restaurant said that it really tasted almost exactly like theirs. And they have these biscuits that I want to try and make one of these days. They are they're made with cottage cheese of all the things in the world, and I think it's funny, when I first saw the recipe I thought, oh my gosh, what in the world? But then I start seeing all these things on my Facebook and YouTube, all these recipes that literally use cottage cheese in them. And once it's all blended up and everything, you would never know. But they're like little baking soda biscuits, and you just kind of put them all in a big pan, and let them go. And they were the best biscuits. They really were simple. They just were a good flour butter biscuit flavor. So, um, maybe after I get some of the other 100 things on my to-do list done, I can work on that one of these days. I've got a nice sized counter in my kitchen. I just got to get a bunch of junk off of it. That was one of the reasons why I bought this house, is because it had a big, long countertop in it that I knew I was going to be able to do baking and have the kids help me, which that kind of went out the window because I've learned that I don't have a lot of patience for kids in my kitchen. But it's funny, when I was younger and they weren't my kids, when they were like my friends' kids and stuff like that, and I didn't have kids, I had all the patience in the world. I had all the little ones in helping me, put cheese on the macaroni and cheese, and here, help Aunt Courtney put pepperoni on the pizza. And now when it's my house, I'm like, get out, get out, get out, get out. But again, my friends had girls, so it was a little bit different than having. Maybe it's just my house, I don't know. But in my house, in the kitchen, when I'm trying to make dinner, there's usually like an RC car flying by. There's Legos getting dropped. There's the dog coming in and telling on them because they're doing something to one of her toys or something. And it's just, it's a little overwhelming sometimes. So, okay. Got that. I'm going to let that soak in for a minute. Something else that I don't know if I've ever discussed this either, but to help from lifting and help keep your nails a little bit better underneath, before you go to bed at night, and it's the best time to do it because you don't want to be doing it, which I'm going to end up scrubbing my nails in a couple minutes, so that's why I'm doing this, but put your nail oil underneath too. That helps that natural nail stay moisturized. And it helps it from, that was one of the things I was talking about earlier. This gal had said she was upset because her natural nails were peeling away underneath her press-ons, and she had, or under her gel nails, and she had hoped that they would be able to grow and just kind of become overlays after a while, but it wasn't looking like it was going to happen. But that's because there's not enough moisture in those nails underneath, and especially like this time of year, like I don't know about you, but I am washing my hands every, oh gosh, it feels like every 5 minutes I've got to wash my hands, and then then if you barely open a window or go outside, at least a little bit of cold air, your hands are chapped. Same thing happens to your nails, especially when you're putting products on them. I mean, you figure it this way. I've had alcohol dehydrator on my nails. I've had acrylic monomer, primer, all this stuff. I mean, there's no way that it's not gonna. Look at that. Oh my gosh, you can almost hear that lotion soaking into my hand. It's horrible. And I'm just using this. It's just Gold Bond. I really like this. It feels good. It doesn't sting when you've got chapped hands. Have you ever done that? Put some of your pretty perfumed, Victoria's Secret lotion on or something, and then instantly regretted it because you basically just put battery acid on your dry hands. You have to sit there. So there's that. That rubbed in real well. Just gonna do this. I'm just gonna do this on the tops of my nails so I don't have that greasy look. Like I said, I'm gonna be washing my hands in like 5 minutes anyway and scrubbing them because I have to go do mom duty and make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So yeah, so there we go. That is OPI Gelament, Let Me Lavender, And the finger paints, gel polish, soak off top coat, the clear gloss. They do have a matte. I have not tried their matte yet, so that it's never in stock. Um, so if it ever does get in stock, I will grab some and we'll try that. And then using on natural nails, I definitely do a base coat. I didn't, and we'll see how that goes just because these are on acrylics and I didn't buff them down to super smooth. They had a pretty good grip going on. So, um, we'll see if it chips or anything like that. Let me be the one, let me be the guinea pig so you don't waste your products. And so, yeah. So there we are. So those are my nails. Those are going to be my Molly Go Lightly approved nails. So they're a little bit long. I probably should have shortened them, but like I said, next time I'm either going to do one more fill on these or I'm going to completely chop them off and go with my nubs again for a little while. Because that's fun too. I like that. It just really depends on what mood I'm in. So, and I'm in a chopping mood lately. And I want to make sure that whatever I'm chopping has good results. So I'm thinking about cutting some of my hair off too. So I haven't decided on that yet. Um, so all right. I am not sure if I'm going to be able to be back tonight. I have a couple nail ideas in my head from some viewer requests. So if I am not able to tonight, I definitely will sometime tomorrow. But and I am working on another true crime podcast. So that's going to be a little bit of surprise. And they might not be coming out as often. What I'm trying to do is put a little bit more work into them now. So they might not, you might not get a couple of them a week, but get at least one per week. And that's my goal. And then like the rest of the nail lives that I do, stuff like that. So again, if you are just coming in or if you are new here and you are interested in what you see, please hit that subscribe button for me and hit the thumbs up. I'm trying to grow my channel and I'm slowly but surely climbing up there. So it's no cost to you and it really helps me, gets me out in that algorithm and gets new people to see me. And the more new people that see me, then YouTube passes me off to even more people. So pass me around, please. And yeah, so let's see, it's Thursday. Everybody have a great rest of your day. If it's snowy and cold where you're at, be careful. Like I said, I know that it was really slippery out this morning. I slid through quite a few stop signs and intersections. So be very, very careful. Bundle up, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Peace, love, and claws, y'all.